I want First Cousin Once Removed to remind people of the fragility of life, but also to be as pure as I could possibly do it, a reminder also of the profound importance of memory in our lives. And it's the portrait of a poet who's losing his memory, but who knows that he's losing his memory, and he tries as best he can, and I try to help him as best I can to try to understand, explain, describe what's happening to him. What I've learned is that memory is the glue of life. There's no self, there's no identity without memory. Memory allows us to travel, to navigate through time, through the past, the present, and the future. And without it, we lose a sense of who we are. I tried in my film also to in some way create a kind of archaeology of the human mind in decay. What it's like to lose all those things that we take for granted. And in the case of my cousin Edwin, he was a brilliant man, a very learned, educated man, a poet, a translator, a teacher, critic. And because he was a poet especially, and that's how he identified himself, I wanted to give the film as much of a poetic sensibility as possible, to use cinema as a way of making both audio and imagistic, sound and picture, sound and image metaphors for how the mind works, what it's like to lose your memory. There's a section in the film where I talk about leaves and trees, leaves on trees, as metaphors for memory. So I tried to come up with cinematic metaphors for memory, for remembering, and for forgetting. That was a big challenge of the film, but also part of the film I enjoyed the most. I wanted the film to be a loving portrait because I really love this man. We were very dear, close friends, even though we're 36 years apart. And I hope the viewer sees that this is a portrait made with a lot of love and a lot of care and a lot of delicacy. It's a very sensitive subject, losing your memory. But in the end, I made the film, I like to think that I made the film in the spirit of Edwin, which is to say, in the spirit of Edwin's work. Because Edwin is someone who believed that good art, good poetry should touch someone at the core of their soul, to get to the core of the matter, to the bottom of things. And once I began the film, I realized that I had a chance, an opportunity here of working with Edwin, of being in a duet with Edwin, that could possibly take us very close to the place where memory lives. And again, the fragility of being human and the role that memory plays in our lives, the profound role that memory plays in our lives. Well, you know, the thing is, this is not a film I could have made about anyone else. This is a film that I could have only made about Edwin. By the way, look at you or look at you, I didn't know. Oh, because I've been looking here, I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. This is a film I could have only made about Edwin. In many ways, it's the culmination of decades of deep friendship and artistic kinship and family kinship and long walks and long telephone calls, conversations and arguments and debates about life and love and art and poetry and everything in between. And so I was close enough to Edwin for him to trust me. I was close enough to Edwin to trust myself to take this journey with him, you know. And I mean, it's very sad to see someone lose their memory, but you must remember Edwin was a poet, and with a capital P. He lived his life understanding that poets sacrifice themselves in many ways to illustrate and to evoke, in the fullest sense, the true dimensions of being human, you know, the pain and the joy. And so I'd like to think I made the film in his spirit, and that it's something that he not only approved of, but would have wanted me to do, all the way to the very end. You know, I'm very comfortable with that.